Hello and welcome once again to Beatle University. I am Professor Moptop, and as we continue to talk in great detail all about the White Album, it's time once again to discuss the very hard to talk about and extremely unusual stack of noise that is Revolution 9. Right at the very beginning of the sessions for the White Album, John Lennon, along with his brand new partner, Miss Yoko Ono, began adding overdubs to the second half of what was an extended version of Revolution 1.
You're gonna gain weight because you've been eating another.
The final project is what John Lennon called a musical landscape and a masterpiece. A lot of people call it noise. Of this sound, there's very little documentation, but after a lot of careful listening, we can detect some of these 45 different bits of audio that were combined to make this most unusual recording. On June 20th, the last day of sessions for the track, George, John, and Yoko all say a bunch of bizarre and unusual things into the microphone.
With the situation,
they are standing still.
Upon a telegram.
Yoko also hums through a bulk of the recording. Of the recordings, we can hear Beethoven's Choral Fantasy. The Streets of Cairo appears, as does Schumann's Symphonic Studies, just played backwards. There's a loop of George Martin saying, "Jeff, put the red light on." And we hear Vaughan Williams' "Oh, Clap Your Hands." Also, somewhere in there is an unknown French horn and oboe duet. There's a bunch of backwards electric guitars, and the conclusion of Sibelius's Symphony No. 7. Farid al-Atrash's Aval Hamza was in there.
وحلفت لك إني بحب.
Somewhere inside there is the tape loop from Tomorrow Never Knows. And there's a big hunk of the final product of A Day in the Life. Scattered throughout are also some more generic sound effects, like gunfire, breaking glass, loud cymbals, some horns, and some fans yelling either "hold that line" or "block that kick." Many of these sounds are likely from the sound effects library from Abbey Road. Other sources report that many of the standard sound effects came from an Elektra Records sound effects album, possibly recorded at home by Lennon and then brought into the studio. Details are extremely inconsistent and undocumented. Somewhere in there is also the sound of the reel being rewound live as the remix was being performed. On the 21st of June, after adding horns onto Revolution 1, they added a couple of more overdubs onto Revolution 9, and you guessed it, they are undocumented. After Paul returned from the United States and John played this finished product for him, McCartney was noticeably unimpressed by it, immediately declaring it unreleasable and unlistenable. John said it should be the next single and should be the band's new direction. George and Ringo were apparently silent throughout all this. During the final hours of the White Album, a minute was chopped off the running length of the track, still clocking in at over 8 minutes, the longest single Beatle release of all. When it was decided that What's the New Mary Jane and Not Guilty would wind up on the cutting room floor, it was also suggested that Revolution 9 stay off the album as well. John and Paul allegedly had a huge argument over this. The winner is clearly on record.
Number 9, number 9, number 9, number 9.
And while it never did become the Beatles' new direction, it was released along with all the other tracks on the White Album, making it a part of it for good or evil. Revolution 9 is also the biggest musical release ever of what some people might call experimental sounds, music, concrete, avant-garde, or just plain noise. Perhaps the most interesting thing about the entire musical soundscape is the number 9 part.
Number 9, number 9.
When it's played backwards, it's this.
The
voice seems to say, "Turn me on, dead man, turn me on, dead man." And nobody seems to know if this was an accident or intentional, or if it was done on purpose, and by who, and how. This would all, of course, fuel the fire to the Paul is dead myth. As with the sounds of the car crash on the record, everything was very, very weird in Beatleland in 1968. And with that, we are all done with Revolution 9, but we're not quite done with the White Album. Join me next time when we talk about the final song on the double LP, which is yet another first for the Beatles. Until then, class dismissed. I am Professor Moptop.
1, 2, 3, 4.
A Moptop production.
Very good.